Coach, I wanted to ask you about your wide receivers. I mean, just us looking out there, it looks like maybe as talented a group as you guys have had. What are your thoughts on those guys, and how do you decide where you draw the line on who plays and who doesn't?
Yeah, we feel really good. Coach Guyton's done a tremendous job with that whole group. From a recruiting standpoint and a development standpoint. Those guys are bought in. They're doing everything from a blocking standpoint, perimeter standpoint, knowledge standpoint, catching the football. And then we got some guys that can separate and get down the field and make plays. So, coming in, that was really a weakness that we felt like, was unproven. And we've had a lot of guys step up, guys that have been here as well. Some of the young guys have gotten better on campus. And that's with, Coach Walker and our strength program and what they've done all summer. So we feel like that's a strong group now, which going into the spring and fall camp, we didn't feel that way. So we're really excited about the group.
How has KJ progressed, and what's been the challenge for him coming back as a starter and, I guess leading this team this year?
Well, you hit it right there. It's just leading. It's been so great to have a guy that's done it. Because when he talks, they listen. And that wasn't the case this time a year ago. I mean, this time a year ago, we really had no idea what he could do on the field. Before you get in a game with live bullets, then you just really don't know. And so now we know what we have from a competitor standpoint, from a player. His development as a pure quarterback, throwing the football, seeing reads, his leadership skills in the locker room, during summer workouts, everything that he's done, he's put himself in a position to have a great year. So incredibly pleased with his work ethic and the way that he's mentored some of the younger guys, just trying to get them, I don't want to say play on his level, but, he's playing at a pretty high level and, in practice right now. And to get those guys on the same page has been impressive to watch. So I'm really pleased with him.
I'll ask you Nate's question first. He wanted me to ask you how much influence did Felipe Franks have on KJ's becoming the leader and stuff?
Yeah, Felipe did a tremendous job, and KJ, we played him a little bit. He started the Missouri game, but, seeing the way that how important it was, because for Felipe, he had basically, at that point he had 5 months to go and prove what he could go do to live out his childhood dream. And KJ was right there, and there was a competition there for a while. And Felipe, being an older guy, he ended up winning that in general. But KJ never faltered. He was always prepared. Everything you do, you're judging everything that they're doing, and so in meetings and workouts, you always got a pretty good idea of what their mental state is. And KJ never faltered. He always stayed, in the now, and was always treating it like he's one play away from playing. So I was impressed with that. But yeah, Felipe did a great job with him.
As far as KJ, he just stepped up. And I read a story last night. They were another school where they were being critical of his passing in the bowl game. But he's got receivers now that he didn't have in the bowl game. Plus, he's had a lot longer to work with. Just talk about how you feel like what kind of season can he have? Just as far as in the passing game with those new receivers and stuff.
Time will tell. Time will tell. We feel good about. It all matters with the passing game, how we're running the football, how we're protecting him. There's so many variables, how they're playing us. If they're playing us off, we're going to run the football. I mean, so there's just so many variables that, you can look at it and say, well, heck, he only threw for 150 yards. Bottom line is he is a winner. We know he's a winner. And when you're a quarterback, to be a great quarterback, you have to win football games. And I believe in him. I wouldn't trade him for anybody in America when it comes to winning football games. And however we got to do it, we got to do it.
Hey, Kendal, this being roughly halfway before the season starts in camp, how are you in terms of your pace of install, where you feel like you're progressing, just overall take on where you are right now?
Oh, we've got so much stuff in. It's impressive that these guys can remember what we're doing. I mean, we've had, you go in the spring and then in the summer, they have play around practices, so they never really get off of football. It's just year round. It's not like it used to be where they leave for the summer and you got to come back and really install again. We started fall camp, we got almost 90% of the entire offense in because they don't ever leave, and they're always, having player-led workouts, and they're able to stay with that knowledge. So we got a lot of stuff in, and different formations, different personnel.
Oh, and then I know you guys track everything. So to the extent you can tell us, what's the efficiency, completion percentage, and for the quarterbacks, all three?
Right now, KJ's leading that group. Cade Fortin is right behind him, and Malik Hornsby is behind him. Obviously, KJ's, working with a little bit higher caliber player and O-line, but he's also playing against it too. So there's DBs and guys that are making plays. So I'm pleased with where they're at. We've been practicing against this defense. I was talking to Kyle on the way over here. We've been practicing against these guys for a long time, it seems like. So we're ready to get on and start getting ready for Cincinnati.
You said in spring that you wanted KJ's accuracy to improve, and obviously you just said he's leading the group. But just how has he kind of grown in that area, just specifically?
I think his footwork. His footwork has been key for all of that. There were times last year, I'm sure that, everybody sees it. There's times that he was stagnant in the pocket, standing straight up, and his footwork has been really, really good. That's been a point of emphasis for us, and he's done a tremendous job with that. So we're very, very pleased with that, and it's helping his accuracy.
Guys have told us that Matt Landers is super fast and just has been really impressive in that regard. Just what have you seen from him, and what is he bringing to this offense?
Yeah, I tried to catch him the other day. It didn't work. He can run, and he's kind of a guy that scoots. There's guys that are really pretty runners where they get their knees high and run like a track player, and a track athlete. He's really not that. Very deceptive speed. We've underthrown him quite a bit just because of you don't think that he's moving as fast as he is. He had a drop today, but he's had really strong hands, and his work ethic and really his mental state I've been incredibly impressed with. The fact that he's come in here, as a summer guy. He didn't get here in January and go through spring, so he's had to learn it quick. And I'm really, really proud of how he's been and bought into what we're trying to do, and he's extremely competitive. He thinks he needs the ball on every single play. I respect that. Those are guys that feel like they can beat any DB, any coverage all the time. So I expect him to have a really good year.
The receiver's doing so well. Does Malik, is he even getting any reps at receiver now? And just how would you assess his camp? He looks like his arm's stronger, more accurate. How would you say he's done overall?
Yeah, Malik's had a good camp. He is playing he's still, going out there and playing some receiver for us. It helps that some of those guys that weren't here in the spring or didn't perform at high levels in the spring are doing that now. So it takes a little bit of pressure off of that. But he's still, he's a guy that can play multiple positions. He's doing a really good job at quarterback. They talk about his arm strength and accuracy. We've been pleased with. So he's got a role, and we're really excited to have him on the team. So I expect some big things from him.
There's been a lot of discussion about Landers and Hazelwood, Keytron Jackson to an extent. How's Warren Thompson coming along in camp? What are you seeing from him?
To me, Warren's probably had the most consistent camp of any receiver. He's done a really good job. Warren, from right now, last year to where he is right now, is a different guy. And not anything from a character standpoint or how he's acting, just his knowledge. And now he sees things and he's able to do some things on the field instead of just reacting because he really doesn't know what's going on. He's seeing things. He's talking about it. If he misses, a route or misses a play that he should have had, then he's beating himself up about it. And last year, he may not even know it. So it's just completely different where he's at, and he's catching the football, and he's 6'3" and can run.
Hey, Coach, I seen you playing some defense on the receivers today. Does that help you do anything for the QBs, or you just want to challenge the receivers out there?
It's not a challenge to them, I can assure you. It's a challenge for me. I'll probably need the ice tub after this, but no, just different routes we're doing and routes on there, trying to give those guys a look. So they got different options, just trying to give them a look.
Isaiah Centennial is another guy that got here over the summer. How is he progressing, and what kind of role do you envision him having this year?
Yeah, he's still developing right now. Really excited about him. Going to have a tremendous future. The thing I like about him, and he is as low maintenance as any guy could be. And he's a guy who had, in this day and age, that could go different places for different reasons. And, he's been extremely low maintenance, love his work ethic. He's a tough kid, doesn't say anything, doesn't complain about anything, just goes out there and goes to work. Obviously, he can run, and he's pretty slippery. And but I think the biggest thing I've been impressed with is just his toughness. He's been a tough kid, makes tough catches, contested catches, and he's going to have a bright future.
With four of your starters back on the offensive line, it seems like Luke Jones is pretty good there, solid there at left tackle. How better do you think this offensive line could be this year compared to last year?
I don't want to compare it. Everything's different. Schedule's different. We got different personnel outside. So I don't want to compare. They can be as good as Ricky Strongberg and those guys want to be. They're a really tight-knit group. Coach Kennedy does a tremendous job with the offensive line. They got a great culture in that room. And Luke he's done a great job. We needed him to step up and be a really good player for us. He's doing that in camp. Is it going to translate to the year? We sure hope so. But he's been really solid, and he's blocking some good ends here in camp. So we're excited about those guys up front and how they play together, all 5 of them. Is there a superstar in the group? You never know, but they play well together, and that's what matters.
Just with that freshman group, you mentioned Sategna, Bakke, and McAdoo look pretty dang good too.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? McAdoo had a really nice catch today too.
Yeah, he had a great catch. Just consistency, really consistent. McAdoo, man, he's been awesome to see how his development has been. He's probably gained 20 pounds since he got on campus. He's strong, he's willing, he's tough as nails. Him and Bakke are really, really tough. Really, that whole freshman class with Centennial, those are really tough players, which you got to be. And those guys can run and catch the ball, and they got linked, Bakke and McAdoo. So really excited about where they're at and Coach Guyton and his development with them.
Thought up tomorrow? Thought up scrimmage?
Say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So technically that's the last day of fall camp with school starting on Monday. I assume Monday you'll break off with some scout teams, and I don't know, are you jumping right into Cincinnati on Monday, or are you going to wait till midweek, or what's the thought there?
That's a head coach question. We're going to see what the schedule is, and we'll execute it whatever he gives us. So the kids will start class and get their books and get them going. So we'll see what our plan is. We're going to staff today, staff tomorrow, and figure out what's the best thing, how we feel like we need to move forward.
Yeah, we haven't asked you any running back questions.
We straight receivers.
So Rocket, we see pass pro from him, vision. Can you talk about him and then maybe how you feel about the entire depth?
Yep. Rocket is going to be a tremendous ambassador for this university. The way that he conducts himself on a daily basis, there may not be a better pro in the building. Just everything he does. He can come babysit my kids anytime he wants. I mean, he is a first-class person. Role model, player, just everything about him. And that's why he's able to be the player that he is. Everything he does is about taking care of his body. He's in there all the time, just maintaining himself. So he's really smart. Coach Smith's done a great job with him with the running back. He really didn't play much of that in high school, and you saw flashes last year of him being really good. He catches the ball well. He's extremely tough. He finishes runs. He's got some really good elusiveness stuff to him, and he's really smart. So he's a guy that, you talk about raise your hand if you trust Rocket. Every single guy in the building is going to raise their hand. So I love where he's at, and he's really developed some of the other guys in that room, especially, with Dominique right now, not full speed. So we feel good about our depth in the room. AJ and Rashad Dominion done a really nice job. Javion Hunt's been a steady player for us, and I think James Joyner's going to have a chance. He's a big guy that can run, and he's really tough.
You mentioned the efficiency of the quarterbacks a minute ago. What is it about Fortin that's got him behind KJ?
Just with the completion percentage. Yeah. He's really accurate, and he's a smart kid. I mean, he knows exactly what's happening on defense, where the ball needs to go, and he does it in a fast way. So he gets the ball out of his hands. So, a lot of times pressures can get to you, and they don't usually get to him because he knows exactly where the ball should go, and he's accurate when he's doing it. So it's been great to be able to watch him work and develop in this offense.
Hey, Coach, with the availability of the transfer portal, how important is it for you to get the quarterback position right out of the high school ranks, and then what are you looking for when you're recruiting those guys?
With the transfer portal, in general, it's just makes it always difficult with your roster, whatever position that may be. I feel like it's probably for everybody. It's really important to get a high school guy that you like, that wins, that fits your team and your culture and what you want to go with your program. That being said, this day and age, if quarterbacks are sitting, if you got 4 guys on the roster all on scholarship and one's not playing, what's he going to do? It's going to go in the transfer portal. So there's going to be guys that are available. If at some point you had a guy leave or something happens with them off the field, there's always going to be guys available in the portal. At this point in our program where we are, we would like to be able to stay with high school guys, to come in here and develop. But things are always changing, so you gotta be aware of it, and you gotta be able to change as a coach as well. But we look for guys that are winners. We like a mobile player. I think especially in the SEC and where we're at with this program right now, we got to play some 11-on-11 football at some point, and you got to have a guy that can create plays on his own. I call something bad, he makes it look good. I like guys like that. So we got some guys in the room that can make plays with their feet, and you got to have a leader, a guy that everybody in the locker room, when he talks, they listen to him, and he's got to take care of himself on and off the field at all times. So got to have that in that room, and we feel good about the guys we got and the ones that we're recruiting.
Yeah, Coach. I was curious. Last year, you guys kind of got off to a slow start. You picked it up, obviously, but it was 10-7 at halftime of the first game. 13 penalties, not all on the offense, but
I'll
a
recall.
lot on defense. Opening kickoff was fumbled. Do you guys talk to them about that, about starting strong, or is it too early to do all that?
That's something we're going to be talking about. As coaching staffs, we have talked about it, and we've. Coach Pittman's got his own way of doing things, and he throws little tidbits out every once in a while about starting fast. And we've actually, this camp, we've had more, you guys that have come to practice, more fastball starts where we start the practice where we're just ripping and putting a lot of emphasis on that, trying to start fast. Last year, like I said, we didn't know what we had, from really a quarterback position. And, you go through all these practices and you get in there with a lot of people in the stands, it's just different. And it's just different. So to get out there and try to execute early without penalties, and especially playing a tempo offense where we're not huddling, everybody is always real calm about what's going on. So it can be challenging at times, but boy, it helps having a guy who's done it and played the position, done it at a high level. So having KJ back really helps. Back
to recruiting, I guess that was your first time out in the spring evaluation period since you've been at Arkansas with COVID and all that stuff. Do you just stick mainly to Texas and then spot recruit quarterbacks nationally, or do you have different regions? And what was it like for you getting out in the van, I guess?
Yeah. Well, if they had the van, I got the van. But if not, then I'd get something else. We have a place in Arkansas that we go, a region, so able to hit those schools early on. It's great to be able to get out in Arkansas. We hadn't been able to do that much, so being able to get out here and go to different high schools and talk with coaches, that was great. And then I've got an area in Houston and in Dallas, and then spot recruiting quarterbacks has been kind of the main thing, and high priority offensive guys has been what I did in the spring. But it was great. It was great to be able to get out. There's times there when it's a grind. You're recruiting during the week and come back, you got official visits. It's you're not seeing your family as much as you'd want to, so FaceTime helps. But it was good being able to get out there and see people.
Are you totally cool with KJ leading the team in rushing? Would you like maybe to see his numbers come down just a little bit? Where do you stand on his usage as a runner?
I'm totally cool winning football games, and I'm not a stats guy. I mean, stats are good because people lie, numbers don't. But I like winning, and however we got to win, I don't care. If the defense scores, 2 safeties and we win 4-0, we won. It's all about winning football games. Now, it's not going to be happy and we're not going to be excited about it, but it's all about winning games. So I don't care how we do it.
How do you feel about the potential to have better offensive efficiency numbers, better total offense numbers this season?
Hit me one more time with that.
Do you feel like you guys are prepared to have a little higher total offense numbers and pass efficiency this season?
That's kind of the same question. I mean, it's just that kind of stuff doesn't matter. We need to go out and perform at a high level, give our chance, to win the game by not turning the football over. Do I think we have players and, coaches and schemes to be able to play at a high level? Yes, sir, absolutely. But it's at the end of the day, none of that stuff matters, and it looks good, and it's good for recruiting to be able to have high numbers because you can give a little validity to the guys that you're talking to. But at the end of the day, if you're leading America in rushing and you're 5 and 7, it's not great. You need to win football games, and that's really all we're concerned about as a coaching staff.
So those rushing numbers, leading the Power 5 in rushing, those were good for recruiting then.
Yeah, and it helped us win games too. So that's kind of a byproduct. Yes, sir.
We heard that Trey Knox had a couple catches in last Saturday's scrimmage. KJ said he's got a good connection with him. I'm curious what you're seeing from Trey and that connection he has with KJ.
Yeah, I'm so proud of Trey. He came here as a receiver with another staff. We came in, played receiver. I was actually talking to Trey. I looked at so we scrimmaged last Saturday, and I went back and just looked at it real quick to see kind of what we were doing on offense at that time because we were different. And Trey Knox was starting outside receiver on the right. And I went up to him and told him about it. He was like, "What?" And it's just crazy how that is. 1 year ago, he's our starting outside receiver. So I'm so proud of him, buying into our vision, his vision for what he can be for our football program and him for the future. And he's done a tremendous job with strength and conditioning program with his weight to get to where he is right now. And he is extremely reliable. He's one of the brightest kids that we have on our football team. If we signal something wrong or call it wrong, he'll be quick to know that it is wrong, and he'll let us know. He's a sharp kid. I really, really hope he can stay healthy and have a great year because, him and KJ got a great connection.
Then also, it seems like the team is kind of bought into this run off the field, basically run wherever you're going during practice. Coach Loggins is like really on that with the tight ends. How do you see that helps the team, just getting quickly to everywhere they're going in practice? Can that translate to during games, maybe even starting fast?
Yeah. First of all, it's just one of our team rules. Coach Pittman, and we all know it as coaches, our players know it. That is our conditioning. You go to a lot of places and they're going to run guys after practice. We don't want to do that. We want them to condition during practice. And it's all about the mindset of how you take the field, getting on the field. Body language shows everything. You mope out on the field or jog out on the field with your head down. It just doesn't look good. It's not intimidating to the defense. So we want to get out on the field and have some presence when we get out there. And then, things don't happen the way we want them to happen. We want our guys getting off the field. So we don't want them walking off the field. We want them running off the field. In practice right now, we're training them to do that, and that's for conditioning.
Yeah, KJ, I think he had like 21 TDs to 4 picks, and I don't remember him having very many fumbles. As much as he handles the ball, as much as he runs, what's the key to his ball protection, and how big a plus is that? He just doesn't make plays. He doesn't lose the ball either.
Yeah, that's correlated to the center, Ricky Strongberg, as well, and the running backs, the guys that are meshing with the football. There's a lot of guys that touch the ball, but the center and the quarterback are touching it every snap, like you talked about. Our number one goal every single game is no turnovers. We talk about it, every time we take the field for any possession during a game, and then that's the number one goal of our offense is protecting the football. So we did a really nice job of that last year. We had 9 total going in the bowl game, had 2 in the bowl game. If we can continue to protect the ball at a high level, our defense is going to get turnovers. We'll have a chance to win games, and that's where you want to be.
I think you came in here last year at this time. Somebody asked you about KJ's completion percentage. I think you said something like 65%, or you thought that was realistic. I remember a lot of us might have thought, hey, that's asking a lot for a first-time starter, but he did even better than that. And like you say, variables with different receivers and whatever opponents, but what are you expecting from him? Can he, raise his completion percentage even higher, do you think?
Yeah, he should be at that. He can play obviously at that level. We've seen it, and he should play at that level. We got really good receivers, we feel like, and good O-line, good running backs, good tight ends. So the schedule is what it is, but we got a good football team as well, so we expect him to play at a high level, and he does too.
We've heard a lot of good things about Cade Fortin. How much is he pushing Hornsby for that backup job? Was there a battle there for that number 2 spot?
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Both those guys, I feel like we definitely trust on the field, and they're both a little different. Cade is, You know, Cade can move around a little bit, but he's a guy that can get back there and deal the ball. And then obviously with Malik and his speed and what he does to the defense with, you know, +1 game and still being able to throw the football down the field, we feel really good about both those guys if they're called upon.
Last year, y'all were able to bring in Cade Renfro as a non-scholarship guy from Ole Miss. You know, Cade started out North Carolina, Power 5 guys, as a non-scholarship guy. What's it say to be able to bring someone in of that caliber as a walk-on?
It's huge, you know. I don't know what it says. I know how it feels. It feels good having them in the quarterback room. You know, those guys are Power 5 scholarship quarterbacks, and they're in our room, and, you know, they're paying for their school. I think it shows that this program is on the rise. I think that shows that these kids trust what we have going on here. And then, you know, we talked about the transfer portal earlier. You know, guys can get in there and sit in there for a while and not have a home and maybe not get exactly what they want. And I think that's another good use, you know, for the portal. Guys that sit in there for a long time, and if they're given hope, whether that's, you know, monetarily or not with the scholarship, then you can get some guys on your campus. And, you know, once you get a guy over here to Fayetteville and show them the place and let them feel our culture, then they may want to be a part of it.